G'day folks, Steve from Vintage Restorations Australia here. In today's episode, one of our regular contributors and subscriber, Ian from Canada, is going to give us a bit of a rundown on making a wiring loom for your series Landrover project.
Hi, my name is Ian Coulson and this is my 1961 Series 2 short wheelbase. I'll have a video for it shortly on the road, so it's still winter here and snow outside, and a few things I need to do before I get back on the road. But I want to show you that having fitted a custom wiring loom that I bought for this, I had to spend quite a bit of time modifying it to fit things like more fuses, and it had an alternator fitted, so I spent time chopping off connectors, and sometimes the cables weren't always the right length or in the right place. So I always vowed that if I did another restoration, I'd actually make my own custom loom. And so for my friend's 1960 Series 2, that's what we're going to be doing. So there's definitely more fuses and a few extra circuits added. But I still use the old Lucas bullet connectors for connecting things like the wires on the headlights and so on down there. Having now spread the wiring loom out on the floor, we see we've got a number of different sub-looms. There's one which goes to the back of the chassis, and that one runs through the chassis, past the fuel tank. The green one there goes as the fuel tank sender, along to the brake warning switch, down to the rear cross member. And there we've got a smaller loom which runs along the back of the chassis, and that controls your indicators and also your brake and tail lights. The main loom itself is the one which runs along the bulkhead, and that's this one with lots of different wires on. The circuits control the ignition, the headlights, the front, side lights, indicator circuits, and then various warning lights which run back and forth across the main loom. And the brown wire there is a live wire permanent from the battery, which goes to your starter button. And you've got green and white wires there which go from the ignition circuit to fused wires. Coming down towards the front there, we have a longer branch, which is where the horn goes. And then in the centre of the field of view there, we have a sub-loom which goes to the alternator, or if you've got a dynamo, that would be the wiring which goes to the dynamo circuit. And on this circuit there, we've got some smaller offshoots relating to warning lights and sensors for oil pressure and heating systems. On the right hand side, the headlight circuit there is blue, and if you've got a dip switch on your footwell, these ones cannot control the high beam and low beam for that circuit. And this runs down towards the front of the chassis to where the breakfast is, containing your headlights and your side lights, and that's how sub-loom controls that circuit. Should you be brave enough to want to actually sort of rewire your Land Rover, probably it's good to have a good selection of tools to start this. You need a range of different wires of different gauge and thickness and colour. As you can see, I've got quite a lot here collected over the time. Perhaps different coloured insulating tapes, some wire testers, a variety of wire strippers and crimping tools. Importantly, have a wiring diagram suitable for the age of vehicle. This one's for a 1960 Series 2, downloaded from the Landrover Series 2 forum in the UK. And then if you use the original kind of connectors that Lucas used at the time, you have bullet connectors which can couple two wires together, and these can either be crimped on or soldered on. So you'll need a soldering iron or a little mini torch there to melt the solder into your connectors. Should you want to use more modern connectors, you can certainly use the push-on type connectors, and then a variety of different coloured heat shrink cables to cover the connections for safety. And so one thing to notice, this is a good example of what I've been working on, my friend's 1960 Series 2. Here's the instrument panel, looking a little bit modified, but still got the original dials on and switches. But turning it over, and quite a warren of wire and fuses and mess to sort out. So I'll show you a picture in a few minutes of this being converted back to how it should be from the factory. Here's the halfway stage. As you can see, I've cleaned up the panel a little bit, and if you turn it over, quite the transformation from yesterday. having ripped out about 90% of the wiring, which was aftermarket and looking pretty shabby. So I'll clean up some of the terminals there and test them, make sure they work. And then some parts of the wiring is still original. The brown and black wire there goes towards the two power connectors on the front of the panel. And then all the lights and the indicators are salvaged, cleaned up. So we've got some of the little dash lights. The 5 bulbs in the bag there all work. This large one's from an aftermarket part, which is not correct. But importantly, these quite rare connections where the light bulbs sit are still in great condition. Okay, here you go. This is the back of the dash panel, essentially finished with a very simplified set of wires which go to the panel lights, the gauges. You can probably see in the middle there we're actually missing one of the warning lights, so we need to source one of those, finish off the panel. And also the external wires would come in behind the bulkhead, join that main switch in the centre there, and a couple of the gauges to finish off this wiring. Having completed the wiring loom for my friend's Series 2, I then got to making one for my own Series 1, which is 1957 Series 1 88 inch. And it's almost the same wiring as a Series 2, so this loom is very similar to my friend's loom, colour correct and so on. The one difference between his Series 2 and my Series 1 is that mine's got a dynamo fitted, his has the alternator, so the last part of the loom to make was this connection which goes to the regulator box. But this complicated looking thing in front of you is the main wiring loom which goes along the bulkhead. And if you want to save some money in terms of dressing the loom to make it look more like authentic the original Land Rover, you can wrap it in conventional shiny insulating tape, but looks better when the tape is actually a cloth type of tape. So in Canada you can save a bit of money, go out to the local store and buy hockey tape. This is the tape that people wrap ice hockey sticks in, and it's cloth and it works exactly the same way as cloth insulating tape for a fraction of the cost. So that's a good saving tip there for Series 1ers. But yeah, thank you for watching.
Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks very much to Ian for filming that and sharing his knowledge. I'm sure it'll be a great help to many people with their Land Rover projects. Until next time, take care of yourselves and look after each other.